of what to expect. The Daily Nation here with me. And of course, we have the hard copies, we have the soft copies. What do they detail? Are Ruto security drama heads to Parliament? Well, Deputy President allies demand the summoning of top civil servants to explain the changes, while of course on the other hand he said he does not really care whom will be put there to guard him, for as long as, well, the people of Kenya are well guarded. And of course that is not something that should be a big deal. We'll be looking at this. It's something that has caused jitters and stir throughout the weekend, so the conversation has been on, and we'll task our guests to also give us their view in regards to the same. Still lots of stories as to just why it is quite a big deal for a deputy president's security to be, as expected, that is as to what is enshrined in the Constitution, and so much more. A story captured on page 4. We'll look at all the details of this as we continue with the broadcast. Another story: costly decisions plunge Kenya Power into loss. And when Kenya Power demanded about 2.8 billion for connection, industrialist Narendra Raval decided to generate his own electricity, denying the farm about 200 million per month. A story captured on page 6 to 7. Interesting. We all know that Kenya Power has been enjoying monopoly, so this one is quite interesting to note, and therefore we get details of it as we continue with the broadcast to get the view of the guests, as we also get to understand then what this means for Kenya Power and how then this would be received. And Raila's big promise for Mount Kenya voters. Right Honorable Raila Odinga toured the mountain region, saying that I come in good faith, that he is there to take them goodies and not to hurt them. We all understand that there's been some bit of jitters and also worry as to, the reign of Right Honorable Raila Odinga if he were to get to power, because the people of the mountain do not have the confidence that he would be having good faith for them. So Mr. Odinga has several times tried but failed to win the general election or the hearts of the region's residents, and therefore this time around he says, I am coming with so much goodies if only you people can trust me for that. Pre-election pledges. With Bible in hand, ODM leader Raila Odinga declares he's open to dialogue in defining the best contest partnership for Mount Kenya region, igniting speculation that he may be considering picking a running mate from the area. Story captured on page 5, and therefore we'll be looking at all this. It forms the basis of our conversation. We also saw the likes of Mudavadi finding their way into the mountain region, as Mudavadi was region with economic blueprint, and of course the people of Mount Kenya have remained adamant that theirs is getting a leader who's interested in making sure that the interests of the mountains are catered for. That automatically calls for proper economic boost, and in terms of agriculture, just to ensure that the economic activities are well catered for. That is the only time then they can trust any leader to deliver, or they would trust any leader and proceed to vote them in. And so these two leaders have tried to woo the mountain region, and many other leaders. We all know the kind of inroads that the DP has made, while many argue that as at now, it is actually the DP that has the numbers, at least, or has the support of a majority of the people of Mount Kenya in comparison to all the other leaders that have probably, hinted on going it for the presidency. And so we'll be waiting to see. We've seen what SK Macharia has equally told the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, that it's too early to celebrate. There's still so much that needs to be done so that he would be able to just be a darling of the people of the mountain. And so we'll be looking at that later on as we continue. Even as our waters are running dry, riddle of dry taps in city suburbs. Tenants say they spend on average about 10,000 a month to buy the now rare commodity, as the water vendors, whose numbers in the area have suddenly increased, sell about 5,000 litre tank for 5,000. That's quite unfortunate, and it's even worse because the majority say the much they can get is actually salty water, and so that means again they have to get to the supermarkets to buy fresh water for consumption or for drinking, which is actually something that has raised lots of concern. Just why are the waters in the city suburbs drying up is one question that is at hand. We'll be looking at details of that as we continue with the broadcast. This at a point where lecturers union say strike is still on, and the University Academic Staff Union, that is is WASU, called a strike when some institutions failed to honor the CBA, fully including salary raise, and therefore it's a story captured on the back page of the Daily Nation. We wait to see whether, as promised, then they go for strike as early as today, or as today, as of course they have remained adamant that this is likely to happen. We wait to see whether such of their grievances would be addressed before they proceed for these demonstrations. And different the Standard newspaper, front page, the silver lining for learners with difficulties, story captured on page 14 and 16 in regards to what really the government has to do or is bringing on board to make sure that learning is an ease for them. We all understand that in our different schools, there's been that special places set for, students with special needs, and therefore it has been a little bit easier. Of course, the terrains have not been easy still, and as they would say it, more needs to be done. Politics, what's Joho up to? That is one of the key questions that have been asked. A lot of jitters as to what direction he will take. Remember, he had declared his interest for presidency under the ticket of ODM. Same applies to the likes of Oparanya, who later on withdrew his desires, and therefore we also have Jimmy Wanjigi, who equally says that he will go for it again with a ticket of ODM, posing a huge challenge to Right Honorable Raila Odinga, who as well also has a lot of interest in regards to going it to the top seat. And therefore, the biggest question is just what direction is Joho set to take at a point also when the coastal region leaders have also shown their interest of making sure that they have a regional outfit that would be friendly towards making sure that the coastal region is on the table and equally discussing the interests on the table, or the interests for the people of the coast region. Costly power on their way. Certainly what we expect in regards to what we have discussed about Kenya Power. Well, it is quite unfortunate that the prices will always go up and up and up. It's quite unfortunate. And the fans of Manchester United celebrating the coming in of Cristiano Ronaldo, something that has hugely been celebrated across, and we all wait to see the magic that he's going to do towards making the good team even better. Away from that, focus on the shrines of Kenya. Well, that's an interesting piece as captured on page 25, 28, 29 and 30. But the biggest story as to matters of politics, it's now or never for the big three. Just who are these big three that we're looking at? Decision 2022, after 10 years in the political cold. Well, next year's poll offers Right Honorable Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka and Mudavadi the best chance to ascend to the top seat. Failure to which will consign them to another long spell in the opposition. A story captured on page 4, 5, 6 and 8. Definitely what forms the basis of our conversation this morning. The issues at hand as raised by this individual, age factor, or as of course that would pose a threat to this individual. Number one, the age factor and rise of younger politicians could deny them a chance. That is in 2027 polls. Catching up with DP William Ruto, who started his campaigns early. Less than a year to the general election, they are yet to crystallize their alliances. Number four, they are yet to craft their campaign messaging to Kenyans on their agenda. 5, Uhuru's unity attempt could earn them the project tag, which could hurt the quest. It will be interesting to watch then what these individuals are likely to garner at this heated moment of politics in the country. It is something that is not all rosy, as the three of them remain adamant that they have to be the individuals who are going for it in the event that they are in one alliance. So we will wait to see as we also get to ponder on the same and get the views of the pundits. People Daily. On matters health, COVID jabs run out amid rising demand, and Kagwe learns of the biting shortage of visiting Trans Nzoia hospitals. We all understand that, well, a majority of Kenyan have exhibited some level of skepticism as to, getting the dose, and there have been lots of fears and, lack of trust on getting the dose. But then again, there was that, coercion that came from the government somehow somehow to the teachers who were told that if they do not get the job, then they're posing a huge threat to the lives of the students and all the other staffs in schools. And therefore, if they do not go for the job, then they do not get their salaries come August. So they said that they had to go and get the job, and same applies to the civil servants. And therefore, there's been that rise and need for them to get the jobs, only to realize that again, we have gotten to points where we have the shortage. We hope that such is going to be addressed. This even as, you know, Kenya continues to get, doses or donations from different parts of the world, United Kingdom, the United States, as we await to get more, to receive more batches of doses, Moderna in this particular case. I don't care who guards me. Deputy President William Ruto says this, of course, backtracks on demand to have the General Service Unit contingent attached to his residences reinstated, says he is comfortable with any security formation, and therefore this conversation that we've had for the better part of the week is one that we'll be looking at extensively as we continue with the broadcast. 2.4 million Kenyans at risk of starvation, says agency. Quite unfortunate. We also what is happening in Turkana, and we certainly hope that the government would step in pretty much fast to help us evade such a scenario. And a different one on matters BBI, the BBI orphans. We all understand how excited these individuals, especially the second-term governors, were to make sure that at least they secure themselves positions, and therefore they appear to be, you know, in that state of course, despondence or state of worry at this point in time. We know that Dr. Alfred Mutua is exiting the stage, Joho is exiting the stage, Oparanya is, Emerson Kingi, Jackson Mandago, Sospita Ojamong. So what way for them, or which way for them? Second-term governors who embraced low change bid with the hope of landing jobs in the proposed expanded cabinet go back to drawing board for Plan B. The story captured on page 8. We all are eagerly waiting to see what direction they take. Remember, as governors, probably the next step that they're expected to go rank-wise then is go for the presidency, which appears to be a tight one for them. On the other side, Right Honorable Raila Odinga Mudavadi, take vote hunt to Central Region is what we'll be discussing as we continue with the broadcast. Those are the key stories on the papers this morning. We'll be looking at them later on. But first, let's also pick what it is